We're going to start in child's pose today. So kind of set up towards the back of your mat, and then you might want to have a block at the top of the mat if you do have one. And if you don't have one, no worries. But we're going to start there. So if you are a little tighter in your hips, it's probably going to feel closer to better to have your legs a little closer together. If you want a little more hip stretch, if you kind of been moving a little bit today, it might feel nice to take your knees a little bit wider. So you can just play around starting out, see what feels good. And then let's just gently stretch our arms forward today. You can even kind of do cactus arms to start out if that helps you feel like you're releasing a little more across the backs of the shoulders. Also, if you're feeling a little tighter in the back, in the hips, you're totally welcome to lay your head down on a block or a pillow or a cushion from the couch if you're at home. So whatever you need there. And then find a nice deep inhale through your nose here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. Do that a couple more times. As you're exhaling, you're putting aside the to-do list, you're putting aside all of the things that you need to get done this afternoon. You're gonna get them done, they're gonna be there, but for the next hour, you get to tune into yourself. You get to start to pay attention to your breath, to the sensations happening in your body. You get to try to quiet the mind. That's usually the most challenging aspect of this, but you're gonna do the best you can. Good, so you're starting to dip into your ujjayi breath. So inhaling through your nose, constricting the sides of the throat, so you're creating that soft rush of air. It sounds like ocean waves. And then you do the same thing on the exhale. So exhaling through the nose. Right away, let that sound help to draw you in, helps to kind of give you a focal point for your attention. And then with your mind's eye, with your eyes closed here, maybe just observe how it feels. The inhale, as you fill up, you feel that expansion of the rib cage. And then as you exhale, everything contracts in. So just observe how very three-dimensional this breath is. Be here another moment or two, just really enjoying this stillness. Even if there's distractions happening around you, just let them melt into the background. Let's find a little twist in this child's pose here. So start to walk your arms off to the right. So you're gonna stretch them out. They're gonna feel like downward facing dog arms. Spread the fingers a little bit, press down evenly. Kind of laying out over that right thigh. And there is a sensation that those left ribs are turning towards that right thigh. So definitely a little twist here. Breath smooth and steady. Just noticing how this feels, keeping it easy. Just be resting that left cheek to the inside of that left upper arm. And then nice and slow, start to walk back to center. And then take your hands off to the left. Just laying your ribs on that left thigh, gently wrapping those right ribs up any amount. And then again, you can just kind of rest your ear here, right ear to inner right arm if that feels good. It's fine if you kind of have if you're holding on to your neck a little bit. Good, start to walk back to center. All right, so stretch your arms forward. Spread your fingers, press evenly, and arms are reaching so far forward that as you find that action in your hands, your forearm starts to lift up off the mat. From here, we're gonna rock forward, so shoulders come over wrists. As we move into this next pose though, I really want you to keep your hips over your knees. And this might be a place where you're gonna need a block. We're gonna start to stretch out the thoracic a little bit. So we're coming into Anahatasana. So this is heart melting pose. Sometimes it's referred to as puppy dog. We're gonna start to walk our arms forward and you're gonna eventually lay down onto the forearms. Again, keeping your hip bones above your knees, and then you start to melt your sternum towards the chest. So some of us might get all of the way there. Most of us probably won't. If this is really uncomfortable and you need a little support, maybe your chin comes on a block and you could take it any height. And we're gonna be here about 5 breaths. Kind of firm the forearms in towards each other. You're gonna feel a little stretch here on the tops of the shoulders. It's kind of nice in a hurt so good kind of a way. Keep that breath smooth and steady. This is definitely intense. All right, so from here, if you've got that block, you're just gonna come out of this a little bit. All right, and then we're gonna lower down onto our forearms. Shift shoulders over elbows. So you're welcome to stay like this. Pull your belly button towards those back ribs a little bit. So a little modified forearm plank. Maybe you curl your toes under and we take about 5 breaths here. So if you're in the forearm plank and your hips are really high or they're sinking down a lot, maybe come to your knees. So we want a nice flat back here. Gaze forward. Stretch forward through your sternum. See if you can melt it through the gates of your shoulders and then really press actively back through your heels. Nice deep inhale. I know this is hard. As you exhale, lower down. Here we are in our Sphinx pose. So press into the tops of your feet, press into all of the toenails, and then keep your forearms planted where they're at, but it feels like you're gonna drag the mat back towards your heels. So you're gently pressing the shoulders back. So getting right into it today. Breath smooth and steady. From here, we're gonna slide back to that child's pose. So you can kind of walk your hands back. You might be able to kind of traction back. So just sliding the hands back kind of depends on how sticky your mat is. And then really consciously let everything relax here. So those are some challenging poses that we just went into. Soften in this child's pose. Find your breath. Inhale up to your tabletop. Start to slide, walk hands forward, keep those hips above your knees. Melt your heart towards the floor, chin towards the floor. So gaze is forward. It's okay if you're not very deep. Again, you could be resting your chin on a block. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Feel your lower belly pull in and up ever so gently. Keep that breath smooth and steady. And then hold on to that feeling of belly button working. Start to shift shoulders over wrists. Gaze forward. So it's like you're making a tabletop, a little picnic table, and somebody could have a picnic table or a picnic on your back here. Maybe you go one step further and you curl your toes under, stretch back through the sternum, or stretch back through the tailbone, stretch forward through the sternum. Breath smooth and steady. And then from here, lower onto your belly, tops of the feet press. Feel as though you're gonna slide the mat back towards your heels. And then as you press your shoulder heads back, it feels like your chest is gonna pop forward through the gates of your shoulders. Already starting to get a little heat here. We're gonna do one more complete round of that. So nice and easy. Pull back to your child's pose. Hallelujah. Take a quick little mini break here. Relax everything. Inhale up to your tabletop. Keep your hips over your knees. Start to melt heart and chest down towards the floor. This might be feeling a little bit easier. It might not yet. That's okay too. So don't go further than you need to. And just be gazing straight in front of you. Inhale, start to shift. Shoulders over your elbows, press down into those forearms. You can stay here in the modified version. Maybe fire the legs up as you curl those toes under. Feel, see how long you can get out. It's like you're being stretched in opposite directions. As you exhale, lower down, tops of the feet press, slide the mat back or have that sensation that it's coming back. Keep pressing evenly into all 10 toenails. And then one final time here. Exhale, pull back to your downward facing dog. When you get there, take a nice deep inhale through your nose. No, I'm sorry, not downward dog, child's pose. Deep inhale through your nose, open your mouth, sigh the breath out. Ha. Welcome, Pam. Shift back into your tabletop. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. As you inhale, find that sensation of coming into your cow stretch. Think that little puppy dog pose that we did. So melting your chest down. And then exhale, go in the opposite direction. So you start to really round in the thoracic. You let the back of your neck release. Beautiful work. As you inhale, arch. Yeah, as you exhale, press the mat away, round in. Couple more like that, just at your pace. So connecting the movement with the breath, finding this idea of vinyasa, letting this feel really good. It's always nice to wake up the spine, especially when we've been sitting at the computer all day. And then we're going to inhale, come back to neutral spine. We're going to get into the shoulders a little more here. So you're going to keep rooting into that right palm. You're going to thread that left arm behind, and you're going to lower onto that left shoulder and ear. You may find, if you're a little bit tighter, that you need to rest your ear or even your shoulder on a block. So both really good variations. You can just play around. I always think it feels really nice to extend, let's see, it'd be that right arm forward. So I'm sorry, it would be the left arm forward here. So kind of in that downward facing dog arm, and then you're resting on that right shoulder. You can stay here like this. Maybe you start to reach that left arm up towards the ceiling. Spin the palm to face behind you, so externally rotates in that upper arm. Bend the elbow, grab a piece of shirt. Maybe you can get your fingertips to the inside of your right thigh. And then really wrap your right ribs up towards the ceiling. Breath smooth and steady. Try to find length through that right side of your neck. Nice work. So if you're in your wrap, go ahead and stretch that left arm up. As you exhale, you unwind, and then we just make sure that we have shoulders over wrists here, root down into right, do the up, I may have said this wrong, so just do the opposite side. I think we're pressing down into the right palm and then threading our left arm underneath here. This side might feel completely different, so use a prop if you need to, a little something underneath that shoulder and ear. Breath smooth and steady. Already in this, you're feeling those left ribs wrap to the right. You might be walking that right hand forward, so it kind of comes into downward facing dog. That can feel good sometimes in the shoulder. And you can stay like this if you're getting enough. Maybe you start to extend right arm up. Spin the palm to face behind you, externally rotate, bend the elbow. Grab a piece of shirt, lower left side. Maybe you can get those fingertips into your thigh. Wherever you're at, you're just looking for a little leverage to lift that right shoulder up towards the sky a little bit. Breath smooth and steady. Good. If you're in the wrap, as you inhale, stretch that arm up. As you exhale, unwind, come back to your tabletop, take a couple more rounds of your cat-cow. So just letting all of that go. Good. On your next inhale, come back to neutral spine. You're neither arching nor rounding. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches, spread fingers, press evenly. For real this time, curl your toes under, shift your hips back, come in to your downward facing dog. Let's do this first one with a nice deep bend in the knees so that you can really start to stretch your sit bones up towards the ceiling. Notice how you start to lengthen through the sides of your waist as you do that. Peek between your feet, so you're just gazing between your feet here. Your ears line up with your biceps. Make sure that the feet are about hips distance apart. Second and third toe are pointing forward. And then nice and gentle, start to release your heels back any amount. You might still keep a significant bend in your knees. That's absolutely fine. Heels probably won't touch the floor, especially this first round, but just be good with where you're at. Then fire up the arms a little bit. Feel the forearms squeeze in towards each other. It starts to turn on the upper arm. So the inner arm begins to wrap towards the outer arm. The outer arm, the tricep, is wrapping down towards your mat. Breath smooth and steady. Couple more here. Good. And then take your time, a little walking meditation. Start to walk your feet forward to meet your hands. As you inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Your fingertips can be on the floor here. Your hands might be on shins or thighs. You might have a bend in your knees. All good places to be. So we're looking for length. Gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold in. Couple more like that. Inhale, lengthen forward. Notice if all the weight is in your heels. Maybe shift forward a little bit. Exhale, fold. Conversely, you might be gripping your toes. So shift the weight back a little bit. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. So this time pressing down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Beautiful. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Couple rounds of our half Surya Namaskara, half sun salute. Inhale, take up space, reach up, maybe gaze up. As you exhale, fold in, arms can reach out or forward. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhaling, reaching Utthita Hastasana into Dasana. Exhale, fold in. Maybe you're smiling here because these always feel so good. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Press down to rise up. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. 2 more on your own, moving with your breath. Perhaps you close your eyes here so you get really internal, really quiet. Pay attention to how each of these distinct movements feel in your body. Maybe get curious about your feet and the work that they're doing to keep you upright. When you're done with your second round, just standing in your mountain pose, palms together at your heart, eyes closed, taking a couple of breaths, observing how energetically you're starting to feel a little differently. Good. Blink your eyes open, release your arms down, and then we're going to stretch our right arm up. We're going to find internal rotation, so you can actually use your left hand to help wrap that arm in towards your cheek, right arm in towards your cheek. Bend your elbow, so reaching your fingertips down your back, and then we're just going to take this left hand on top and apply a little pressure. You might not need to do much of that at all, and you should be feeling a nice stretch through the outside of the tricep. You might be feeling it on the back of the shoulder a little bit. Observe if you've started to puff the booty out and the chest comes forward. Lengthen tailbone down, stretch sternum up so you have a nice tall stance. Feel the arches in your feet lift. One more deep inhale here. Good. As you exhale, release. Maybe just give everything a little shake out. And then we do the second side. So inhale, stretch that left arm up. Find that internal rotation. Use your right hand to help you a little bit. And then we try to hold on to that as we start to bend the elbow. Reach the fingertips down the back. And then gently pressing onto that left elbow with your right hand. Standing nice and tall. Toes soft and gentle. Breath smooth and steady. Gaze soft and steady. Good. Inhale, release, and then just give everything a little shake out. Maybe roll your shoulders back a couple of times. All right. So if you do have a strap, go ahead and grab it, and you can unfurl it here and then just have it at the top of your mat. If you don't have a strap, don't worry about it. You could use like a towel or a scarf or a belt would work, but it's also fine if you don't have one. So we're gonna add on here, we're gonna start to flow a little more. So finding your nice mountain pose. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. We're gonna step our left foot way back. Good, lower onto that left knee. So this first round, we're just gonna flow through here. Inhale, rise up into your low crescent pose, gorgeous. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Curl your left toes under, firm that thigh. Keep your hips to slow, your gaze forward as you step your right foot back to meet your left foot. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, shift forward on your toes. Option to come to your knees. As we exhale, we lower to halfway hover and all the way down. Nice, Pamela. Tops of the feet press. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Low cobra for this first one. Exhale, press to your tabletop. Curl your toes under, downward facing dog. As you inhale, your left leg lifts. Exhale, use your belly to help step that foot through, land on your right knee. Inhale, rise up. So we've got Tadasana in our upper body here. Nice work. As you exhale, Hands frame that left foot. Curl your right toes under. Step your right foot to meet your left foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Root into your feet. Feel those arches lift. Arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So let's complete the second half here. As you inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. This time, keep that left foot forward. Reach your right leg back. Land on that knee. Inhale, low crescent, good. Exhale, palms plant, curl those right toes under. Step your left foot back to meet the right foot. Take an inhale here in plank. As you exhale, shift forward on toes. You might be on knees, lower halfway, hover, then all the way down. Inhale, low cobra, or if you're ready for an upward dog, drag hands back, wrists underneath elbows. Press into the tops of your feet, press into your hands, legs really active and strong here, glutes working. As you exhale, roll over your toes from your up dog, press to your tabletop, then make your way to down dog. If you're in your cobra, inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through, land on your left knee. Inhale, arms reach up. Good. As you exhale, hands plant down, curl those left toes under, step left foot to meet right foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Let the back of your neck lengthen and release. Inhale, press into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhaling, reaching. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens. Keep gazing forward. Step that left leg way back. And let's do a round just with our full crescent here. So as you inhale, rise on up. You want to make sure you're not on a tightrope. Walk that right foot to the right if you need to. Exhale, hands plant, gaze forward, stretch back through that left heel. Step your right foot to meet it. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower halfway, pause here or come all the way down. Inhale into low cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Strong legs carry you up into your crescent pose. Gorgeous. As you exhale, hands plant to the mat. Step your right foot to meet your left foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Finishing this Surya Namaskara C. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, find length. Keep that length. Step the right foot back. Good. Inhale, rise up into your crescent pose. Exhale, hands frame that left foot. Stay this low as you step to plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale, any version of your chaturanga vinyasa that feels good. You can mix and match. Exhale, pull back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Good. Inhale, rise up into your crescent. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Step your left foot to meet your right foot. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Close your eyes, take a couple of breaths. Let everything slow down. So we're starting to feel this heat accumulate in our body, which is a good thing. The heart might be beating a little faster. Let's revisit that shoulder stretch that we just did before we started to flow with the option to go a little bit deeper. So grab your strap, place it over your right shoulder. And I'll do this from the back this time. So we are going to stretch our, right arm up. It is my actual right arm this time. So find that internal rotation. Again, you can use that left hand to help you find it. Bend your elbow, reach your fingertips down the back, and then stretch that left arm out to the side. Start to spin your thumb to face down. Good, so your palm is facing behind you. Kind of come at a diagonal, and then bend that elbow. So grabbing the strap, some of us might get fingertips. If you don't have a strap, it's okay, just kind of pretend. And you can firm the back of your hand into your back. But what we're trying to do is to hold on to this idea of internal rotation in that front arm, elbow lifting up towards the ceiling. But in this lower arm, we're pressing that shoulder head back. So it's a big stretch across the heart and chest here. Keep breathing. And again, when the energy, the focus shifts to the upper body, sometimes we get a little lazy with our stance. So make sure that you have that nice Tadasana mountain pose. Good. One more deep inhale. Full, complete exhale. Go ahead and release. Stretch arms out. And then release arms down. Take a breath or two here before we come into that second side. So you can move your strap over to that left shoulder. As you inhale, start to stretch that left arm up. Find that idea of internal rotation. And again, you can use your left hand, left hand to help you find that. Right hand. Bend your left elbow. Good, and then take your right arm off to the side. Spin your thumb to face down so the palm is facing behind you. Start to kind of just angle your way down. I love how that feels on the top of that right shoulder. And then bend the elbow. So if you don't have a strap, you're just pressing the back of your hand vigorously into your back. So you're getting a little leverage so you can press this right shoulder head back. You're stretching your left elbow up towards the ceiling. And you're taking a few breaths here. This is indeed very intense, especially because we do spend so much time at our computers, kind of rounded in. So feel this opening, this stretch, this lift of your sternum. It's kind of the opposite direction of what we do most of the day. One more deep inhale. Full, complete exhale. And then just start to release here. Nice work. You can just place the strap again, just have it close to the top of your mat. All right. We are going to be coming back onto our knees and we're going to be holding a little bit longer. So if you know that you have a tender knee, just have a blanket close. You can also double up your mat as we get there. As we inhale, arms reach out and up. As we exhale, we hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. We're going to keep the right foot forward, step that left knee way back. So land there. And so to start out here, we're going to just melt this left hip flexor down towards the floor. This is super intense. This is a great place to use blocks underneath your hands if you are particularly tight. So that just serves to bring the floor a little bit closer. Always remember too that every time we get on our yoga mats, our body feels a little different. So we sometimes have this expectation that we need to be as good as we were last time. Nothing could be further from the truth. More important to kind of just acknowledge what's going on any given day and modify as needed. And I'm always a fan of less is more, as you guys know. Okay, so let's start to go in the opposite direction. We're going to get into that right hamstring here. So again, blocks can be really nice. Start to shift your hips over that back knee. Draw your right hip back, left hip forward. Try to keep lots of length through your spine. So even if you're a little more flexible in this pose and you have the ability to walk hands forward and kind of turn this into a forward fold, think a little lift and openness across your heart and chest, your sternum. Breath smooth and steady. Little bend in the knee if you need it. Hamstring is a really big muscle. It's tight for most of us. You want to be keeping that front foot engaged. So toes pointing up towards the ceiling. All right, so we're gonna rock back up here. You can grab your strap and we're gonna start to upright ourselves. So we have our right knee over our ankle. Again, make sure you're not on a tightrope. Just walk that right foot off to the side if you need to. Feel your tailbone direct down, lengthen through the sides of your waist. So you're feeling some space in these lower hip bones. And we're gonna take our strap here. So we're gonna go wider than shoulders distance. And if you don't have one, just fire up the arms and do the best. You could even make little fists here. Okay, so the strap is up overhead. Take a nice deep inhale here. I want you to keep pulling out on the strap as you exhale. Lower back only about a quarter of the distance. You're gonna feel a big stretch on the tops of your shoulders. Inhale, back up overhead. Exhale, keep pulling out, release down. Inhale, up overhead. Exhale, so keep the arms straight. You're not gonna be able to go all the way back, that's okay. And it's intense. Inhale, up overhead. Exhale, keep pulling out a lot. Find that widening across the backs of your shoulders. One more. Inhale, lift up. Good, exhale. Release back as much as you can. Gaze can be forward, it might even be slightly up. Inhale, up overhead. Good, exhale, come forward. All right, so another little variation. Inhale, bring that strap up. Keep pulling. As we exhale, this time we come into cactus arm shape. So elbows bend, keep pulling out on the strap. Beautiful. Inhale, press back up to straight. Good, exhale. Pull down, nice work. Inhale, pressing up one more. Exhale, pull down. Good, inhale, keep pulling out on the strap, lift up. Go ahead and remove that strap off to the side. We're gonna curl our back toes under. So firm up that back thigh. It's gonna feel nice to get off of that knee. So just take a breath or two here, gaze forward. We're gonna turn this into a twist. So left hand is over your left wrist. Your hand might be on a block. Press to the inner edge of your right foot. Start to open up. Now, if this is really intense in your body, you can lower that back knee again. Gaze can be down, it can be forward, it can be up. Try to feel those shoulder blades stacking on top of each other. That looks really nice, Pamela. Good, one more deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind here. That right palm plants, gaze forward, back leg is strong. Step back to your plank pose. Options here. If you want a little more heat, chaturanga vinyasa, moving with your breath. Otherwise, you pull back to your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, inhale, lift your left leg. As you exhale, step that foot through, lower on your right knee. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. And then we stretch into this right hip flexor. This side might be so different than the other side. Get the hands up on blocks if you need to. Sometimes we feel like we're cheating if we use these props. We're not. We're actually safer in the pose. Sometimes we're actually even getting a more intense stretch. How is this side different than the other side? Noticing these things, not trying to change anything, but just becoming aware of what's going on. All right, then we start to pull our hips back over that right knee here. Take the blocks along for the ride. You might find that you have to go a level higher. If you're a little more flexible, of course, you can start to walk your hands forward, but don't lose that action of left hip drawing back, right hip drawing forward as you're doing that. And also keep that openness of your heart and chest. Breath, smooth and steady. What's going on with the breath? Good, one more deep inhale. As you exhale, rock forward again, and then find that strap. So we've got this little shoulder sequence on this left side. So first, make sure that you have good alignment. You're not on a tightrope. Okay. Knee is over left ankle. Then take the strap. So you're wider than shoulder's distance. You're probably like 4, 5, 6 inches on either side of the shoulder. Stretch the strap apart. Direct your tailbone down. Nice deep inhale. Exhale. Keep arms straight. Pull back like maybe a quarter of the way. It might not even be that far. Inhale up. Exhale. Keep pulling out on the strap as you release down. Inhale up overhead. Exhale, stretch apart. It's a little bit of that feeling that we had melting our chest to the floor on the mat. Inhale up. Good, exhale. Great work. Keep directing your tailbone down, especially as you inhale here. Exhale. Stretch back. Inhale up. And then exhale forward. Almost there. Inhale, arms reach. Good. So this time our little cactus pose as we exhale, keep pulling the strap apart with your hands, but elbows start to bend. Maybe it even feels like they squeeze in towards each other. Inhale, it's like you're pressing a barbell up. Good. Exhale. Pull down. Good. Inhale, lift up. One more here. Exhale. Pull down. It's like this little isometric stretch. Inhale up. Beautiful work. So we can lose the strap. Hallelujah, you all say. Those who didn't have a strap are thinking, I'm never going to buy a strap if that's what I have to do. Plant your palms, curl your right toes under, lift that knee up off the mat. That's going to feel a sigh of relief here. And then we transition into our twist. So vigorously press to the inner edge of your left foot. Right shoulder over right wrist, maybe hand on a block. Keep this deep bend in the front knee. Keep that outer left hip squeezing inward. Right hip is squeezing inward too. Start to twist to the left. And again, you can modify this by placing that back knee down if that feels a little more stable and secure in your body. These twists are definitely a little bit of a balance pose. And then find a gazing point that feels comfortable in your neck. It could be down, forward. You might be peeking up at that left thumb. Good, one more deep inhale. As we exhale, we unwind. We're gonna step our right foot to meet our left foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. Good, exhale, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. Nice work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. We're gonna keep our left foot forward, step our right foot way back. So stay on those toes, make sure you're not on a tightrope. As you inhale, you rise up, full crescent pose. All right, so we're gonna take our arms out wide here. All right, and we're gonna give ourselves a hug. The right arm is gonna come underneath. Elbows stack on top of each other. Okay, so start to lift the elbows up as you direct the tailbone down. You might just stay here like this. Maybe bring the backs of the hands together. Maybe You can press the palms. And then we're gonna floss the shoulders a little bit here. So keep the spine nice and long, but as you inhale, lift the elbows up, and you can do it in any variation. Exhale, they pull down. Inhale, they lift up. Keep directing tailbone down though. Keep that nice deep bend in your left leg. Exhale, release down. Good, inhale, lift up. Exhale, come on down. Release the arms, stretch them up overhead. As we exhale, the hands come down to the mat. Couple more opportunities for a chaturanga vinyasa if you would like. Otherwise, you're simply stepping back to your downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, we inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, step that foot through. Make any adjustments so you feel very stable and secure here. Inhale, rise up. Crescent pose, beautiful work. Exhale, arms come out wide. Give yourself a hug, left arm comes underneath. All right, so elbows can stack here, backs of the hands together, palms might press. Keep your spine nice and straight so we're not trying to find any cat-cow sensation here in the spine. As you inhale, start to lift the elbows up. Feel that stretch across the backs of the shoulders. Exhale, release down. Good, inhale, elbows lift. Fire up that back leg, maybe sink a little deeper into the right leg. Exhale, release in. Good, inhale, lift up. Exhale, elbows release down, arms release, stretch your arms up overhead. As we exhale, hands come to the mat. We're gonna step our left foot to meet our right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. And then as you exhale, hands come together at your heart, close your eyes. Take a few breaths here. Checking in, noticing how you're doing, noticing how you're feeling here. So we've created all of this openness and space and stretch inside of our shoulders. So it's a really nice opportunity to come onto our backs and find our bridge pose. So we're gonna do a couple of these active and then we'll do a supported bridge pose. So if you have a block or 2 blocks or books handy, that will work. You could also roll up your mat. But first things first, we're gonna be active here. So making your way onto your back, laying down. Land with your ankles underneath your knees, maybe even slightly forward of your knees. So we don't want the heels too close to the buns. That puts a lot of pressure on the knee as we come up. And also really important here to keep your gaze up. So you don't need to look at your Zoom screen. Look up at the ceiling and just listen and then move into the pose that way. So arms are by your sides. Before we even come up, you can kind of try to find that feeling of shoulders curling underneath you a little bit. And notice as you're just laying here naturally, there is this little curve, especially in that lumbar, the lower back. So let's inhale here, lengthen through the sides of your waist. As you exhale, start to direct your tailbone forward. You're gonna start to lose that curve and then carry into this exhale, press into your feet, start to roll on up. Inhale, let's reach our arms up overhead. Good, and then as we exhale, we release hips and arms down by our sides. Take an inhale here. Exhale again, start to direct tailbone forward, lose that curve in your lower back, press into your feet, lift up. Inhale, arms reach up and overhead. As we exhale, everything lowers down. One more like that. Take a nice deep inhale here. Feel that expansion across your heart and chest. Exhale, tailbone directs forward. You lose that curve in the lumbar. Start to press into your feet, lift up overhead. And then as you inhale, arms reach up overhead. Keep the hips lifted this time. As you exhale, arms release by your side. Couple of options. Grab the outer edges of your mat. Walk your hands closer towards your heels. Maybe you can interlace your fingers underneath you and snuggle those shoulders snuggle the shoulders underneath you a little more. Notice if you begin to roll to the outer edges of your feet. Keep pressing to the inner edges. So you want to feel nice and even here. Keep directing that tailbone forward. Keep that breath smooth and steady. Good. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, release down. And we're going to come up into just a quick little minute-long supported bridge pose here. If you prefer to do the active version, you're welcome to do that again. Otherwise, you're going to press into your feet. You're going to slide your block. You can play with height underneath your sacrum. So sacrum is that triangle at the bottom of your tailbone. What tends to happen here is we get the block into our lumbar. So you can see my buns are hanging off the block. It's super uncomfortable. So you go a little lower and you'll feel stable and secure when you hit that spot. And then we're going to take about 7 or 8 really nice, long, deep breaths here. Shifting gears, moving towards that Shavasana place, so that quiet, still place. We're not working as hard as we have been. So let the breath start to lengthen out, both the inhale and the exhale. Feel the back of your neck nice and long. So there's a little bit of this sensation of chin gently releasing towards your chest. Good. As you inhale, press into your feet, lift your hips up off the block, just slide it out from underneath you. And then give the knees a really gentle squeeze into the chest. And we're going to come into a hip stretch, hip flexor stretch here. I'm going to give you a couple of options. So you can do classic reclining pigeon here. So you would cross the right ankle above the left knee, flex that foot a little bit. You could stay here like this. Maybe you bend your left knee into your chest, interlacing fingers around that shin or thigh. If you want to try a little different hip variation, you might want to come into our cow face leg, so Garudasana leg. So you would completely cross your right thigh over your left thigh, and then you start to hug the knees in, take the legs, the feet out wide, and then you might be able to grab the outer edges of your feet. So we kind of do the seated version of this. It can be really, really intense. It's kind of nice. It gets into a different place in the hips. So play with this. If it's not happening, you could also just be squeezing, holding onto the ankles, the shins, pulling in. So you might want to play with that, kind of see what you think. It's a little easier on our backs than seated. Coming back to your breath if you've lost that at all, if the attention has wandered. Good. And then wherever you're out, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, start to release. So just come back to that bridge pose setup, and then you either take left knee, cross it up, or left ankle, cross it above your right knee. This might be a really intense hip stretch, just like this. Perhaps you bend your left knee in, and then there's this triangle you've made with your legs. You're reaching your arms through, interlacing around thigh, or shin. Again, if you want to do those Gomukhasana legs, cross left thigh over right thigh. So we're kind of like trying to stack the knees here. Start to take the feet out. So either grabbing the outer edges of the feet, that's probably the hardest variation, maybe the ankles, the shin, and then squeeze in. This almost gets a little bit into the groin too, which can feel really nice. Good. One more deep inhale. Good. Exhale. Start to release where you're at. Hug knees in. And then we're going to come into Shavasana here. So whatever resting pose feels best to you. Classic Shavasana. You could take legs up the wall. You might need to slide something underneath your knees if there's any pressure in your lumbar, your lower back. You could also just bend your knees, take your feet as wide as your mat, and then allow your knees to knock in towards each other. And then really commit to soaking up these final quiet moments. Not worrying about that to-do list just yet, but instead just absorbing all of the amazing work that you've done, just letting it settle into your brain, into your bones. Taking rest, Shavasana. Good. Let your next inhale be deeper. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. And begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe stretching arms up overhead. And staying soft and gentle, roll to one side or the other, just find the fetal position, pause there a moment. And you're going to use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. Pause here, notice how you're feeling. Just check in one final time. Hopefully you're feeling an energetic shift. You're feeling a shift in your body. It feels like you can sit a little taller with a greater sense of ease, especially in this upper body area, the shoulder area. Notice how your breath is different. Notice how your headspace is different. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up and working hard. Just promise yourself you're going to carry a little of this with you into the rest of the day, the rest of the week ahead. Palms come together at your heart. Bow your head with a smile. Really terrific work today. Thank you, everybody. So good to see you virtually. Namaste.